Welcome back to another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network, right here in TCO Studios. The Minnesota Vikings are getting set to take on the Chicago Bears, the 6-3 Chicago Bears. So what has changed about that outfit? Well, let me tell you, the quarterback, the offense, you know what? Instead of telling you about it, how about we show you? Let's get to the film. So what's the biggest change that Ben Johnson's brought to these Chicago Bears? Well, it's about an aggressive attitude offensively. In this case right here, the Giants just failed a fourth down conversion on their own 47-yard line. It's just like a turnover. Ben Johnson says, thank you, I'll take that, and then we're just gonna throw it deep on you. They're gonna attack deep. He wants to instill that attitude. And when they wanna go deep, they go to DJ Moore. And you see him at the bottom of your screen. And it's a beautiful route by DJ Moore. He does so many things so well, but as you see Caleb getting to the top of his drop, notice the fine points of DJ's route. At this point, he is widening. Why? Because he wants to pull this corner out to the numbers. And by doing so, he's getting himself some space from that guy, the free safety in the middle of the field, and you can actually see this lane opening up. Now, there's a lot more room for Caleb to throw this football. And you can see Caleb in the pocket. He's waiting. He's saying, this thing's going to come open. However, he decides, I'm going to pull this thing down, and I'm going to check this thing down to my running back because that's what the play calls for. So that aggressive attitude, but not being reckless. And Caleb Williams is executing this thing brilliantly. This ends up being an incomplete pass, but it makes a big statement on this Bears offense. Another example of Ben Johnson going for the jugular, wanting to go deep. We're going to highlight again, DJ Moore. Remember, he's their guy, and they want to take him up the middle of the field. In this case, it's a little bit different. You have a middle open coverage. You have two safeties deep, right? So when you have a middle open coverage, what do you want to do? You want to attack the middle. It's pretty unique how they do it here. Get a little motion. You get a bunch set up top. Everything looks to be good for the Giants at this point. However, this receiver is going to run this deep crossing route all the way over here. Why? To attract the attention of this safety. What does that do? Well, that is going to open up DJ Moore to be able to split these two, okay? But the play kind of goes sideways. You can see some interior pressure right here being applied to Caleb Williams, so he has to get out of the pocket, but watch what he does. Gets outside of contain, he's on the move, and you see DJ Moore heading to the back in the corner of the end zone. We remember this from last year. Caleb Williams, full sprint to the sideline, throwing it like a laser beam right on target. Caleb Williams can throw on the move. So we figured out they love to go deep, especially on the plus side of the 50-yard line, and they like to do it off of play action. It's not always DJ Moore, however, but we're still going to get the double move. In this case, it's Rome Odunze, one of Caleb Williams' favorite targets down here at the bottom. They got the receivers stacked. That might lull some DBs to sleep because normally you don't run vertical type routes when you have receivers stacked. So what do you get? Play action. Now, Caleb Williams rolling out to his left. That's important because that's away from his throwing arm, okay? Still, watch what he's able to do. And in this case, watch what Rome Odunze is doing. He is working himself right here toward the middle of the field. Why? So he can break it out to the corner. The double move on the single high safety. We've seen it once. You're seeing it here again. Odunze, why? Now he's going toward the corner, and look at that throw. Rolling out to his left from the 44-yard line all the way to the back of the end zone. Yes, this one falls incomplete, but they're aggressive. And it doesn't matter if Caleb's rolling out left or right, but when you see play action, Caleb turns his back on the defense, get ready for the deep ball. Another thing Ben Johnson has done is he's revamped this Bears running game. They're averaging over 180 some yards over the last couple of games, but they want to throw the football off of that look. Before this play starts, keep an eye on this guy right here, the linebacker, because he's the one responsible for this boot, okay? Caleb takes a snap, fakes the toss, now pause it. Look where this linebacker is and look where he's looking. He is completely lost. He is in no man's land. It's a horrible feeling. And all Caleb Williams has to do is roll out, and you have Rome Odunze, one of their best receivers, standing with not a defender within 15 yards. That's what a good running game gets you. It gets you to set up plays like this and then give Rome Odunze time to run after the catch because he's dangerous there as well. So like any defensive coordinator facing a young quarterback, you want to pressure him. You want to get him off his spot. You want to get after him. Caleb Williams is getting pretty good at this too. And on this play, you're going to see It's a double outside, kind of a saw blitz where you're sending the nickel from the outside, and then you're going to send this other defensive back from the outside and try to just pinch Caleb Williams into the box, walking everybody up in front so you can do what? So you can drop these guys out underneath for the underneath coverage. Really only a 4-man rush, but sometimes it hits home. But watch Caleb Williams diagnose this thing right away and get the football to Rome Odunze, his outlet down here at the bottom. Odunze running the underneath route. You see the linebacker right here. He's working his way, trying to get out to the curl, so it's just a throw and catch. He's able to catch that thing, turn it upfield, but what a quick decision by Caleb Williams to identify the blitz and know exactly where to go with the football. Another example of play action passing and how it opens things up for Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams. Again, that's why the running game is so important to these Bears now. But you see the splits from the wide receivers. Everybody's tight. Everybody's close to the formation. Why? Because they're going to attack the middle of the field. And watch what happens. Caleb Williams under center, turns his back, gets to the top of his drop, and you can see by middle open, you have two safeties in the middle of the field. So what's open? Well, you guessed it, either split the two or work toward the middle of the field. And Caleb Williams with a beautiful pocket. This is what a great running game can buy you. It can buy you all of this space so you have patience to let things happen. He sees this opening in the middle of the field right there on the logo. This gigantic open area. Rome Odunze's getting ready to break down. He's going to move there. Caleb Williams throwing the football on a dime, moves the chains. But we got to take a look at this play from the end zone. You hear coaches talk about arm talent. What exactly is that? This is a perfect example, and the end zone view just points it out beautifully. Play fake, Caleb Williams at the top of his drop. He sees, again, this area right here is coming open. However, you've got this pesky little linebacker that's sitting there and actually doing a great job reading Caleb's eyes and working himself toward the middle of the field. Now watch as this football's thrown just over the extended fingertips. Not a laser beam, not a moonshot, but the perfect amount of arc on this football to hit Rome Odunze in stride right in the middle of the field. We are seeing Caleb Williams get some arm talent on top of everything else. Another one of Caleb Williams' favorite targets, Colston Loveland, the first-round draft pick out of the University of Michigan. They love to get this guy deep, get him in space, and they're going to see a perfect example of this right here. Again, off of the play action. As Caleb gets to the top of his drop, you'll see Loveland in the middle of the field. He's going to work himself back out toward the flat. You've got the wide receiver on the outside pulling the defensive back out, and you have this gigantic area right here on the bottom of the screen. This is where Loveland is good because this guy can't hold up to a 6'5", 6'6" tight end. Watch this arm talent. Look at that. Nice little arc right on the money. Colston Loveland able to catch it and turn it up. They love getting him in open space off of the play action. All that being said, what has impressed me most about Caleb Williams is his ability to escape pressure. I mean, this guy is Houdini-like. And you play against the Giants, you've got Kayvon Thibodeau, you've got Brian Burns, you've got some really good outside linebackers, and Caleb Williams was able to just run all over them. Perfect example right here. You don't see this happen very often. You get the play action, Burns beats the right tackle. As this play is developing, look at this. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, unblocked, quarterback, all alone, unprotected. Looks like it's going to be a sack, right? No. The little move, Thibodeau misses him. He's able to scramble, and what should have been a 12-yard loss turns into a 5-yard gain. This guy can make things happen with his legs. Even when you get to him, he's tough to bring down. Let's take a look at this one. Again, you get two outside linebackers. You've got Burns coming here from the outside. Caleb Williams getting back, getting set in his drop. You have Thibodeau inside, underneath, working himself, trying to collapse the pocket on him. In fact, they actually get Burns free, wraps him up, hard to bring this guy down, and then he outruns Thibodeau to the outside and is able to get the first down. Still don't believe me? Watch this beauty. This is a 4th down play, and kind of like explain a little bit why Williams moves the way he does. So he has to throw this football. They have no choice. But watch what happens here. You get a chip on the outside. He's to the top of his drop. Watch him set this up. Steps up, backs up, and then boom. Can't get him. It's like the Benny Hill show. They're just throwing themselves at him. Now this ball ultimately falls incomplete, But Caleb Williams, even when you're free to the quarterback, I mean, come on, you can't get this guy on the ground. Now, this is the 4th time that the Bears have come back inside of 2 minutes to win a football game. And here he is, Caleb Williams, once again, play action, rolls himself out, and when he gets to the top of his drop, look what's happening down the field. He's got a wide open wide receiver that's going to work his way to the corner of the end zone. You would think easy throw and catch, but he's feeling it right now. Caleb Williams is feeling it. He says, you know what, I'm just going to pull this thing down, and I'm going to do it myself, takes it all the way into the end zone. So Caleb Williams growing as a passer, growing as a quarterback, but when push comes to shove, he still wants to do it on his own. That's where the Vikings need to step in and end his day right there.